As is our practice, we are gathered here again today for the June 2024 edition of the Osun Masterminds State of the State Address, where we make public our positions on key government decisions and policies, providing solutions where necessary with the right dose of commendations and condemnations as we fairly deem appropriate. We want to remind everyone that the Osun Masterminds is a coalition of like-minded civil society organizations that have come together to promote good governance and ethical democracy in our dear Osun State and Nigeria. The coalition is made up of eminent groups and personalities who are putting their resources on the table to facilitate development. In this May edition, we will again address key issues in the polity, and we do hope to receive constructive feedback from all individuals and arms of government concerned. Fertilizer palliative distribution. We recently read in the news about the receipt of the first batch of fertilizer palliative amounting to 11 trucks out of the 30 trucks from the federal government, which is an initiative from Nigeria's Apex Bank through its anchor borrower program with subnational governments. We are therefore imploring the state government to distribute the fertilizers with fairness, equity, and transparency. The distribution of fertilizers to 30 local government areas and area offices must not be politicized. Public servants who are saddled with the responsibility of administering the palliative scheme must indeed share to the target segment of the populace instead of favoring their cronies and enriching the state political actors. The fertilizer palliative, which is designed to mitigate the hardship petroleum subsidy removal method on Nigerians, is to provide succor to the downtrodden. Therefore, it should relieve the poor and not further aggravate the socio-economic conditions of the people. It is expected that the fertilizer will boost agricultural production in the state and benefit the agrarian communities in the state at large. Poor quality of ongoing construction works. We noted with dismay and expressing dissatisfaction toward the poor quality of roads being constructed by the Osun State government, led by Governor Ademola Jackson Adeleke. The state government has failed in its pledge to construct quality roads to the masses, as the recent construction projects in Osun State have been subpar. For instance, the daily Yesa end of the approved 91-kilometer Osogbo-Iwo-Ibadan road construction has been riddled with potholes, and the pace of work has been terribly slow. The quick deterioration of the road is worrisome, despite the staggering amount of money allocated to the project. Then we wonder why the Ministry of Works, led by the governor, which is saddled to supervise and ensure quality of roads, has grossly failed. Why did they contract the job to a grossly incompetent contractor? Can we say the project was done for pecuniary gains? Another example is the Lameko Old Garage Road and the flyover project. At Okefia, Osogbo. Despite the continued constructive criticisms from well-meaning citizens of the state about these roads, the PDP-led state government has still failed in delivering the mandate to which they were elected to office in 2022. We sincerely hope the state government is committed to the construction of good roads and also ensure effective networking of the roads to encourage economic and social development. Blacklisting of contractors who perform below specifications to be done by the state government. The federal government will note with dissatisfaction the kid glove with which the federal government and by extension the state governments are dilly-dallying with the new minimum wage. In a country where the political class are daily feeding fat at the expense of the electorate that put them into office, a reasonable amount should not be too difficult to agree on and be paid to the civil servants, who in themselves are the drivers of the nation's economy, and not the somewhat ridiculous amount as proposed by the federal and the subnational governments, which some of them are even saying is not feasible. We stand and solidly so with the labor union and hope their state chapters will hold the governors of all the states accountable to do the needful. Transfer of funds to individuals by the federal government. We again decry the decision of federal government to pay money to about 100,000 households per state, as made known a couple of days ago by the presidential spokesperson. This was the path the last administration embarked upon that led to monumental fraud and stealing from the common purse. And we remember also clearly the Edu saga and the initial months of this administration as such strongly condemn the recent resurgence of the so-called scheme. We believe it is another attempt by the government to make richer the political class and some segments of the civil service who will take advantage of the scheme for self-enrichment. We remain resolute that until a good and acceptable database for all Nigerians is achieved and the data of the most vulnerable updated and published by local governments, any attempt at distributing money under any guise is an attempt for fraud and stealing by the political class. In conclusion, we sincerely appreciate you all for attending this month's State of the State address despite the short notice and that it's coming up on a weekend. We implore policymakers and general public to take our contributions as constructive input towards ensuring the growth and development of not just our state but our country. We hope the political class will do the needful and act to the voice of reason. May Osun and Nigeria succeed. Thank you very much.